Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units. In the last video I told you that I would show you the Iraqi army. I have two divisions for the Iraqi army, but it will cram a little bit the table and it takes a lot of time to put together. So instead of that, I'll show you a smaller unit, but it is in fact one of our biggest units. At the moment Portugal has among other units, regimental size and things like that, Portugal has three brigades. There is a quick reaction brigade, the intervention brigade, and this one, which is the mechanized brigade. Our mechanized brigade started a long time ago, with another name in 1976. It was called the Mixed Independent Brigade. But in 2006, it became the mechanized brigade. We call it Brigada Mecanizada. As you can see, there is a group of tanks, a tank group with the M60s and Leopard 2A6. At the moment, the M60s are out of order, are out of the order of battle, so they are probably put aside. I'm not sure if they were sold, if they are in cocoon state or something like that. Then there is a battalion of infantry, of mechanized infantry. There is an artillery group here, and there is an engineer company. There are still some reconnaissance units, but I still need to make one or two M113s for that, extras. And I have also here the eventual the possibility of a second infantry battalion, just in case. So let's start with the tank group. Of course, the very powerful Leopard. Let's try to catch the Portuguese symbols. You can see them a little bit everywhere. And these models are the Altaya die-cast. I had to increase a little bit the barrel, the gun barrel, and in order to disguise the problem, I placed some camouflage netting made of green stuff, and then of course modeled to look like camouflage net. Also a few extras here and there, and they are okay. There's also a 4D M8080 recovery vehicle. This is a 4D. The top part is reasonable, the bottom part is awful. So I used an Eshi M60 tracks and wheels in order to marry these two parts together, and it became with plenty of accessories, of course, and it became reasonable with figures, machine guns, things like that, some tarpaulins and things. It became a reasonable model of the M88. The 4Ds are reasonable kits if you see them from the top, but those wheels are at least the first version of the 4Ds. In the meantime, 4D made, as I told you before, some very nice models, but this first batch of some 20 of them or something like that all had the same wheels, and they were, of course, a caricature of the intended vehicle. So two companies of Altaya Leopard 2A6 and a few more Altaya, like these M60s, the ones that I don't know really if they were sold or if they are placed in some kind of reserve. The figure on top, I think it's an American Prizer machine figure, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Prizer. Now let's move to the infantry battalion, a mechanized infantry battalion, with plenty of M113s in several models. The basic model is here. Everything, all these six M113s are BPM, battle printed models. They're quite nice, with of course a converted figure Eshi with new arms made of green stuff in order to be holding the Browning 12.7 millimeter machine gun, and a few extras on top, as you can see. Then there is a M577 command version. And then there is the mortar. There are two mortars, in fact, two mortar variants for this vehicle, which is the M125 and also the M106. This is the heavier version. Again, some ashy figures converted to mortar crew. And also there is the version with the tow one, which is this is the M150. And here it is. And these guys here, instead of having the ordinary helmet, which is that so-called Fritz helmet of American influence, they use tankers helmet. This crew uses tankers helmets because they decided to do so somehow. There is also a Land Rover 1/72 scale from this brand, which is what it is, Camarama, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can see the infantry. Let's try to focus a little bit. The infantry. Everything is ashy and revel. Let's try to see if it. Okay. This one here, if I'm not mistaken, is an ashy. I don't know if it is from the Warsaw Pact box, but it in fact looked like, after a few cuts, with a Portuguese officer. And Portuguese uniform with the Portuguese shoulder patches. Okay, over there. There is still the MG, the German Maschinengewehr over there, that Portugal still uses. In fact, it is a weapon used mostly by paratroopers, but well, it's what I had, so I place them here. And the normal guys are, of course, the Revel and American Revel, German and American Revel figures, together with a few with some Ashy, also American Ashy and things like that. They're quite close. You need to make some cuts here and there in order for the rifle to look like the German G3, which is the one that we used up to recently. Recently we have an Austrian gun, but still not very common. And some anti-tank RPGs also. 3 companies like that. Now let's move to the artillery group. The artillery group is here, another M577, this time slightly bigger. As you can see, it can be, thanks to this trick, it can be placed like this. Okay, let's do it with one hand only, which is not easy. Let's try to do it even so. And there it is. That's it. Another Jeep, another Land Rover, sorry. And then you have the Riich M109s, A5, Portuguese version. It's the A5. This model is a very beautiful model. These plastic kits are great. A little bit on the expensive side. That's why they are called Riich, of course. And then there is also BPM, much cheaper, slightly smaller, because as you can see, one is 1/72, the other is 1/76, but barely noticeable. And then there are also some support vehicles for the artillery. And let me try to, what is the name of that thing, a number of that thing, a name and, a letter and number, I don't really remember, but everybody knows what it is. So, and this trick of the netting was made with Fowler leaves on top of diluted glue, wood glue, and then after drying, you place some black wash, and then you start to play with the leaves, and it becomes a quite good looking camouflage net. All 3 suffer the same. This is BPM, but it also suffered the same fate. Okay, with the same trick for making the camouflage. And there is also a chaparral, an M48 chaparral with Sidewinder missiles. Nowadays a little bit out of date, but well, it's what we have. Also BPM. And finally, the most interesting unit to make, which is the engineering, an engineer company, which is a very funny one because it gave me a lot of work, because nothing of this exists, at least readily available close to me, or even by ordering on those days I couldn't find anywhere. So I made them myself. This is the M60 AVLB. So this entire structure was made of styrofoam and plastic pieces glued with wood glue, and then of course carefully covered in wood glue, everything, in order to withstand the spray and number of patines, as the French say, regarding the spreading of the color. And this part is also this frontal part is also scratch built somehow. It was a interesting thing to do. The same with this one here, which is the M728, the CEV. It is also again an M60, which suffered a lot of, as you can see, a lot of cuts and add-ons from all possible origins until it looked like the CEV. You can go to the blog to see how this thing was done, because there are a few more details. I don't even remember exactly what I did to reach this thing here. You can check there if you want. There's another Frankenstein thing, and this one is it is a plastic thing from 1/64 scale, more or less. But this caterpillar is looks like the Cat 938 GC. But in order to look like that, there's a big cut you can see here. So this thing was shortened and then cut and then turned around. I don't know what I did. I remember that I lost some time putting this thing like this. But then it became quite reasonably looking like the Cat 938. And as I told you, there is here a second battalion, which eventually will receive another batch of this kind of vehicles for its transport and support. But at the moment, this battalion doesn't exist. So the Brigada Mecanizada has a group of tanks, which is not called, in fact, a battalion, because the M60s are no longer there. There are only 2 companies of Leopards. In fact, at the moment, probably not 2 companies, because some of them, some 3-4, went to Ukraine. Also, plenty of M113s went to Ukraine, where they are used like ambulances, mostly. So it is probably not very easy to find enough vehicles eventually for the 2nd battalion of infantry of the brigade. The artillery is still here, and the engineering company apparently also. By the way, there was still something to show, which is another engineer vehicle, which is another M113 with some particularities. For instance, there is no Browning, but only a G3 mounted on the pulpit. Also some smoke dischargers here, placed in a different position as normal M113s. Also some toolboxes, some differences from the basic one, and there it is, the engineering M113, and of course a company of engineers here. Okay, here they are. So everything is shown, but the 2 aircraft, which of course don't belong to the Brigada Mecanizada, which are just 2 Altaya F-16s in Portuguese colors. At least they were sold here in Portugal with Portuguese colors. Probably they were sold a little bit everywhere with the national colors of the place. This is the two-seat versions. I have a few more to do. Single seat. Let's see if I'll make them with Portuguese colors or with Ukrainian colors. Let's see the future. So everything is shown. Hope you have enjoyed. And I mean, next maybe the Iraqi third Saladin tank division or the fifth mechanized division. Both of them are quite big, so they will fill the table. So it's still some work to be done. Okay. Hope you have enjoyed, and see you next with another big unit. Bye bye.